Hi folks, my name is Shivadas.
I'm a management graduate, graduated from one of India's prestigious institutions, the Indian Institute of Management at Ahmedabad. That was over 37 years ago. And across the last 37 years, starting as a business executive, I've been an entrepreneur. 10 different businesses, failures in 6 or 7 of them, had my fair share of success, turned an investor, written a book primarily meant for entrepreneurs, inspirational book, more about my failures and the learnings that I've had from them. And more recently, I've been doing a little bit of coaching and consulting with companies. But along the way, I've also learned that it's extremely important to manage oneself because it's very easy to bask in the glory of success. It's fairly difficult to manage failures. We've seen so many examples of failures who turn to drugs, who turn to alcohol, who turn to probably negative ways to cope. It's extremely important that one is able to manage oneself. Now you must be wondering, why am I talking about this when I'm talking about an introduction about myself? And that's because that's exactly what Pragan is going to be talking about. Its focus, its purpose is primarily to help you to succeed, to help you to become leaders, to help you to manage your lives, both professional and personal, in a good, in a positive, in a happy sort of way. And this is where I think I have done reasonably well since I've had a meditational practice. I have been a meditator, and that's something that I'm very proud about because that's something that actually helped me to manage myself, to manage my inner self in those moments of failures, in those moments of depression, in those moments when the whole world seems to be turning against you. And that's important. I've had certain practices over the last 25 years or so. And something that I've realized is that one need not retire before one gets into things like yoga or meditation or any practice which actually helps one manage oneself. I have learned a lot from many masters. I have traversed parts of the Himalayas. I've done a lot of practices. But the one thing that comes out of all these practices is the fact that in order to be successful, in order to be able to manage oneself, in order to lead a happy life, one needs to be also able to manage oneself. Friends, today, globally, leadership is acknowledged that in order to be a good leader, one needs to start from the inside. One needs to manage one's own mind, one's own emotions, and be strong within before one can actually be a leader of men, be a person who can actually provide solution, a person who can actually coach others, who can actually stand up and be counted. This is what I intend to talk to you in more detail in Pragan. So what is it that Pragan seeks to offer? Let me try and put this in a nutshell. We at Pragan are not looking at something which is absolutely new. All we are trying to do is to take some of these spiritual practices, some of the meditational practices, some of the insights and wisdoms which has been handed over to us both in our scriptures by our masters and what has actually been well documented in some of the Upanishadic teachings. In a nutshell, we call this the 4 Ds: discrimination, dispassion, discipline, and desire. Now these 4 Ds are as true to a professional and working life, as applicable to professional and working life as it is to spiritual life. We believe that trying to work on these 4 Ds will actually help you become a better person, become a better father, become a better person overall, become a better professional. And what are these 4 Ds? The first is discrimination. Now, most of us in our professional lives use our intellect, what we call the buddhi in Sanskrit. But how many of us use our intellect to good purpose? How many of us very consciously develop our intellect? How many of us develop our logical reasoning skills? One of the first things that we at Pragan seek to do is to try and strengthen the intellect. And how do we seek to do this? Through various meditational exercises. I won't elaborate them here, but that's one of the things that we actually seek to help develop your discriminating ability, what in Sanskrit is called viveka. The second is dispassion. In anything that we seek to do, we have complete control over the extent of intensity and action that we seek to perform, but we have no control over the results. Dispassion is a kind of detachment from the results, not from the action. And to do that, one needs to have a perfect control of one's emotions. or at least seek to improve one's emotions and not have the mind waver to every single stimulus that we get from the outside. Again, we seek to do this by helping you control your mind in a better way. Meditational exercises, visualization exercises, and so on and so forth. And that's dispassion, detachment in action. In the process, what we also seek to do is to make one a better human being by improving qualities, forgiveness, happiness, trust, and so on and so forth. The third D refers to discipline. And discipline refers to discipline of the senses, which is your 5 senses, because today most of us are prey to the 5 senses, which again stimulates the mind. So control over the mind. So you have mind control, you have sense control. How many of us have a practice of sitting in quietude and operating from that sense of calmness? So how do we develop the ability to sit quiet and detached with the mind not under the control of the senses? Developing forbearance, or what we call patience. Many of us have to go through life's trials and tribulations. Now, rather than giving up on the way or becoming a victim of circumstances, the mind can be trained to have greater forbearance capabilities, and that's something that we seek to do. And the last 2 parts of discipline are faith and concentration. Today, in everything that we seek to do, and research has actually proved this, you need to be able to have a very concentrated mind in terms of being able to achieve what you want to achieve. And lastly, the last D refers to desire. What we talk in terms of setting a purpose to what we seek to do. Now, these are the 4 Ds that we will be talking about in greater detail in some of the videos that we will put up as we go along. And what we seek to do in all of this is to develop all these 4 Ds through simple exercises, simple meditation exercises, and so on and so forth. So all this and much more coming up on the website. And let me tell you, this is completely free. The only reason why we are putting this up is to make this available to as many people as possible in a simple format, which is easy to grasp, easy to understand, and we would urge you to have a look at this website, adopt the practices that you think suits you. Not all practices suits everybody, but the one that appeals to you, seek to do it, and whatever little progress that one makes, I for one would be extremely happy that I have had some small contribution to make to society. So the only reason we're doing this is, as I said, is that little that we can actually offer back to society, which has given us so much. So guys, would urge you to actually look at these videos and write back to us in terms of what you feel about them, what you think we could do better, and what is it that has actually appealed to you.